Yeah. Or I could have it on another screen. All right. Because I need buttons here. Sorry. Delay. Make this bigger. Trying. No, it's still not good. Good thing you have a fast forward function. Come on. Okay, here we go. That's what I wanted. So the first question was 53 over 15 is a decimal. Like I said, you have a calculator. You can just enter that as it is. I am going to do it manually because some of you are taking a quiz and you might need to do this. So that looks like a 3, 45. Subtract. Looks like an 8. Let's extend is 0. Put a decimal on top. No idea. Times 5. Looks like 75. Subtract 5. Another 0 right here. 50 goes to 53 times? No, 45. 5. Okay, so we notice that the 3 is going to repeat, right? So it's going to be 3.53, 5333 forever, and I want to see this, okay? If this is a multiple choice, make sure you select this one, okay? B, evaluate, so 1.5 times 4 over 5 divided by 9 over 40. I will go and change this to a fraction, times 4 over 5, and then division, the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, so this is what you have. I'm definitely simplifying. That becomes 1, this becomes 3, this becomes 1, this becomes 3. Divided by 2 is 2, divided by 2 is 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1, 8 divided by 5 is 8. At the top, I have a 2 and an 8, and at the bottom, I have 1, 1, and 3. That looks like this, or 5 and 1/3. Okay. Next one. Negative 8 and 1/5 plus 9.5 minus 3 over 4. When I change this to decimal, I got negative 8.2 plus 9.5 minus 0.75. So that's what I'm doing. Order of operations, I do these two first. The negative plus a positive, so the absolute value of the positive is bigger, so I'm going to subtract both values, and I get 1.3. And it's going to be 1.3 positive. And then finally, minus 0.75. If you think about it, you have $1.30 and you spend 75 cents. How much do you have left over? You have 60 cents left over. Positive. 4, negative 12 and 3 over 7 plus 5.5. I can't change this to decimal because this is not going to work. 3 over 7. So I'm going to change it to an improper. 7 times 12 is 84. Times 3 is 87 over 7 plus 11 over 2. LCM is 14. So this is times 7, which gives me 77 on top. This is times 2, which gives me times 2 on top, and that's going to be 14 goes 116, 174. If I subtract this, right, it's going to be a negative because the absolute value here is greater. And 174 minus 77. Do some borrowing, regrouping. That becomes 17, which is 16. 14 minus 7 is 7. 16 minus 7 is 9. I'll leave it at this, right? You have your calculator, which, again, look at your multiple choice. If it's mixed number, change it to mixed number. 5. Seriously? 12 times negative 9 times negative 7. So I guess the objective here is whether you know that this is going to be a positive answer, right? Positive times a negative, 12 times negative 7. Sorry, 12 times negative 9 is negative 108. And then a negative times a negative is going to give us a positive answer. And 108 times 7 is, I have no idea, 756? Really? I have a calculator. Times 7. And that's right, 756. 6 is the same thing. Didn't I just do 6? No. 6, 4 over 9, divided by negative 20 over 12. Be careful. Plus 3 over 5. Plus 3 over 5. Okay, so we have to do these two first. Right? 4 over 9 times negative 12 over 20, the reciprocal. Let's take care of that. So simplify, divide by 4 is 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Nothing else to simplify. So that division is negative 4 over 15. Which now I have to add the 3/5. The LCM is 15. So I'm going to find an equivalent fraction. This one's already in terms of 15ths. So this one. 3 over 15 in terms of 15, well, multiply this by 3, multiply the top by 3. That's what it's going to be positive, right? Because the absolute value here is greater. So 5 over 15 or 1 over 3, 1/3. Again, you have a calculator. 6 2/5 divided by negative 4. Let's change that to a multiplication. So first of all, I'm going to change this to an improper. I get 32 over 5 divided by negative 4 over 1, right? Just that as a fraction. So 32 over 5 times 1 over negative 4. Simplify, yep, this and this becomes 8. And it's a negative because the positive times the negative is negative. 8 times 1 is 8 and 5 times 1 is 5. That or this, whichever one you want, or whichever one test multiple choice answer gives you. Negative 52.87 is a rational and only rational. Right? It's a terminating decimal. Right? And it's a decimal that I can write as a ratio of two integers. So I can write that as 52.87 over 100. Right? So because I can change this to a ratio of two integers, it's a rational. We're moving. Negative 9 over 20 divided by 0.45, which I'm going to write as 45 over 100. Negative 9 over 20 times 100 over 45. Reciprocal. Negative times a positive is a negative. Simplify. This becomes 1. This becomes 5. This becomes 1, and this becomes 5 again. And then these two 5s simplify to 1. My answer is just negative 1. That was easy. 9 2/5. Yes, I'm sorry. 12 3 times, although today was a good day. Korea beat Portugal. They made it to the next round, and Brazil lost, but they still made it to the next round. So, guess what? They play each other. It's going to be a tough one. 45, 47 over 5, minus 120, 123 over 10, right? Change it to an improper. Common denominator is, or least common denominator is 10. So I just got to work on this fraction right here. Let me change colors. Times 2. So top times 2 is 94. Now I can subtract. It's going to be a negative answer, right? Because this is a, remember, this changes to 94 over 10 plus negative 123 over 10. Right? So the negative has the big absolute value, so that tells me the answer is negative. So now 94 and 123 subtract. Right, let's find the difference of both. Borrow 13 minus 4 is 9, 11, so negative 29. Or, sorry, not two negatives, just one negative. Or 2 and 9/10. Okay. 1 over 4, it looks like, minus, let me make this a little bigger. 1 over 4 minus, what is that, 3/5? Okay, over 5 or 6. So, manually again, I'm going to take care of my numerator. So, my something. No, that's not the button. Hang on a second, guys. I need to find my button. That's the back button. There we go. So, what was it? No. There you go. Common denominator is 20. So it's 4 times 5, so the top is times 5, so that's 5 over 20. 3/5 is times 4, right? So how does a 5 become a 20 times 4? So I multiply top times 4, so I get 12. If you subtract this, you're actually going to get negative 7 over 20. So this numerator part, right, which is what I worked on, right? So let me rewrite the problem. It's negative 7 over 20 over 5 over 6. Excuse me. So I subtracted the two fractions in the numerator. I got negative 7 over 20. Now, I get to divide, right? Remember, this is division. So negative 7 over 20 divided by 5 over 6 is the same thing as negative 7 over 20 times the reciprocal, 6 over 5. Can we simplify? Yeah, the 6 and the 20. Divide both top and bottom by 2. You get 3 over here and 10. Can I simplify anything else? No. Negative 7 times negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. At the bottom, 10 times 5 is 15. And that is the answer. Next question. Sam. She has $8.24. Lisa has $9.01. $9.01 more than Sam. So Sam has this. So Lisa has a little bit more. How much more? She has $9.01 more. So let's add those two. And I know that Lisa now has $17.25. And then Tony has whatever Lisa had, but minus 224. So Lisa has 1725. I'm going to subtract 224. 105. So Tony has a little bit less than Lisa, and he has $15.01. What's the question? How much they have altogether? Add all three numbers. So let me put them here nicely. 8.24, 17.25, 15.01. That's a 10. That's a 5. That's a 20, and that's a 4. So in total, have $40, or they have $40.50. Okay. How long is this? Oh my god, I'm still on the first page. Alright. Good idea, Mr. Cho. Negative 925 minus 4 3/5. So again, I'm looking at this and I can tell that this is something I want to change into a fraction. Sorry, decimal. So negative 9.25 minus 4.6. Now I want to change it to a decimal. If you want to change 9.25 to 9 1/4 and deal with fractions, be my guest. I don't. So 9.25 plus negative 4.6. So either way, whether you want to think of it this way or you want to think of it this way, it doesn't matter. So it's two negatives being added together. We're going to get negative 13.85, right? Negative plus a negative moves you further down left on the number line. Next one is negative 4 2/3 minus negative 3 1/5. This one I'm not changing to a decimal because this can be changed to a nice decimal, right? A terminating decimal. So negative 4 2/3 is 12/14/3. I'll make this a plus here. Plus 15/16/5. So that's what I'm actually doing. Common denominator. I shouldn't be doing fractions. Right? So 3 times 5 is 15, so times 5 on top is 70. 5 times 3 at the bottom, so times 3 is 48. It's going to be a negative, something over 15. Right, the absolute value here is greater. So we're going to subtract 70 and 48, and we get 22. Negative 22. Or 1 and 7 over 15. Whichever. Negative 12 over 15 divided. I'm just going to negative 4/5 times negative 2 and 1/2. So I'm going to negative 12 over 15 divided means multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 5 over 4 negative times, and instead of 2.5, I'm going to write it as negative 5 over 2. Right? Simplify. I did that because I want to simplify. This 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I can simplify the 6 and the 4 now. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. The 15 and the 5, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. This 2, 3, this 3, and that 3 can be simplified, so I'm left with 1. So it's a negative times a negative times a negative, which is going to give me a negative. On the top, I just get negative 1, and at the bottom, it looks like I get 2. What's the decimal equivalent of 11 over 16? 11 divided by 16? Okay, 0. Oops. 110, I don't know. 8. 16 times 8 is 128 now. 16 times 5 is 80. What am I doing? 16 times 7, 112, no. So 16 times 6, okay. It looks like it's 6 times, which is 96. Subtract, right? I'm going to get 14 left over. Add another 0 down. Let's just go a little bit more. 16 goes into 40 7 times. Nope. 16 goes into 48. Yep, 8 times. 128. Subtract, we got 12 left over. Let me bring another 0 down. 16 goes into 120 7 times. 16 times 7 is 112. Got 8 left over. Bring the 0 down. Okay, I don't know how far we're going. 16 goes into 80 5 times. Oh, look at that. Here's your answer. 0.6875. How would you know how far to go? Look at your multiple choice. Okay, this is definitely a multiple choice question. Change the decimal 845 to a fraction. It's 845, so 8.45 changes to 845 over 100, which you can change to 8 and 45 over 100. And simplify, you get 9 over 50. Which of these two expressions equals negative 5? So let's do the first one. Negative 5 to the second power minus 2 times 5 over 3. Well, negative 5 to the second power is 25. Minus 2 times 5 is 10. 3. 25 minus 10 in the numerator is 15. Divided by 3 equals 5. So this equals 5, which is not more than 1. So obviously it is the one to the left. I'm sorry, to the right, but I'm going to confirm. So we got parentheses negative minus 5, or 5 to the second power, plus 2 times 5 minus 5 divided by 4. Jeez. Right, so inside the parentheses, tricky question, because that 2 is telling the 5, not negative 5, to multiply by itself twice. So that actually becomes negative 25. Plus 2 times 5 is 10, minus 5, I'll do it in steps. Negative 25 plus 10 is negative 15. Then we do minus 5. Negative 15 minus 5 is negative 20. We divide by 4, we get negative 5. So it's definitely this expression that equals negative 5. All right, not bad. 19. Here's a rectangle. Helps for you to draw. The length is 2.5. 1/5. The width is twice the area. So, or if you want to write 2.2. Why does this look familiar? Right. So the width is twice the length. Let me actually make it a little bit more to scale. So here is the length, 2 1/5 or 2.2. The width, I'm going to write L. The width is twice that. Right, so I am going to use this guy here, which makes that width 4.4. So much easier. Find the area. So now the area, and again, if you want to write a fraction, you can write 4 2/5. Right, so if you want 4 2/5, you have decimal and fraction options. So area is length times width. So do you want to multiply 2 two decimals together, or do you want to multiply two fractions together? Well, it doesn't matter because you have a calculator, right? But if you didn't, which one would you choose? So 4.4 times 2.2, 8, 8, 8, 8. So 8, 16 carry 1, 2 decimal places. The area is 9.68, which is feet, inches squared. So here's water, here's a diver, right? And he's at 20 and 1/7 feet below water. So he's at negative 20. So let me represent that correctly. And then he dives even further down. And now he is at, is he? Negative 40.5 feet. What is a change in his position? Well, change is final minus start. Remember that? So change is final, where it's 40.5 minus, and the minus negative 20. Right, so what was his change in position? You actually have to subtract those two. So here we get negative 81 over 2. 7 times 20 is 140. And then we get 141 over 7. So we got to subtract those two. LCM is 14. Negative. Minus 14 over here as well. So this is times 7, right? So on top is times 7. And we get 567. Yuck. This is times 2. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, I forgot, it's negative. Times 2, so this is 282. Right, so it's actually negative 567 plus 282. 567 plus. And you're going to get 285. So negative 285 over 14, which I'm going to change into a mixed number. 285 over 14, change to my second function, UND, enter, here's final answer, 25 over 14. Okay. Combine like terms. 12ab squared minus 8ab minus 22ab squared plus 15 minus 23ab. Like terms. Is there anything that looks like this? Yes, there is right here. So combine the coefficients. 12 minus 22 is negative 10 ab squared. AB, is there anything AB? Yes, we do. There's a negative 8AB and a negative 23AB. Combine the coefficients. Negative 8 and negative 23 is negative 31. And lastly, this guy here combines this. So just add it to the end. Distribute and simplify. So remember, an expression is completely simplified when there's no more distributive property or no more like terms to put together. And hopefully there will be none here. Multiply these two, and then these two, and then those two. 5 times negative 8 is negative 4a. X times x is x squared. Y times y cubed is y to the 4th. Second one, 5xy times negative 12y cubed. Positive and negative is a negative. 5 times 12 is 60. X's, and then multiply with no one, and the y's multiply with each other. Y times y cubed is y4. Minus again, 5 times 4 is 20. X and x5 is x6. Y and y7, y8. Can I simplify this? Can I combine anything? No, because nobody has the same exponent, the same variables, raised to the same power. They're all a little bit different from each other. And that's page 1. Factor 12a4b6c3. minus 28, 20, A3, what the heck? 20, A3B squared C plus 8A squared B cubed. So I want that to look something like this, right? Factoring. Greatest common factor. Right? So what would I have? Let's do this a long way. 12 is this, so I'm going to write 12, A4, B6, C3 as a product of its prime factors. 12 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 3. 4 A's, 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 B's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and C3's, 1, 2, 3 C's, that's what I meant. 20 A cubed B squared C is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 5, 3 A's, 2 B's, and 1 C. 8 A squared B cubed is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2 times A times A times B times B times B. Yikes! All right, so do they have any 2's in common? Yes, look, they have 1, 2, so it's a 2 times 2. Do they have any A's in common? Yeah, they have one group of A's, 2, nope, and they have one group of B's, another one, I think that's it. C's, no, they don't have. So, let me bring down the A, the B, and the B. So, the greatest common factor is 2 times 2, which is 4, A times A, which is A squared, and B times B, which is B squared. That's what goes outside. Inside, my first term inside the parentheses, whatever's left over here, is it 3, 2 A's, 4 B's, and 3 C's. Just let me check. 4 times 3 is 12. A second times A second. A to the second power times A to the second power is A4. B squared times B4 is B6, and then C cubed. Well, seems correct. Minus the second term, I have a 5 left over. 1A and 1C. 1A and 1C. Check. 4 times 5 is 20. Check. A squared times A is A cubed. B squared. Check. And then C. Check. Last one, I have a 2 and a B. 4 times 2 is 8. Check. A squared is over here. Check. B squared times B is B cubed. And that's it. So this is this polynomial factored. All right. 12k squared m times negative 3/4 km to the 5th power. Now, multiply the coefficients first. Positive times negative, we get a negative. 12 times 3 over 4 is 9. K squared times k is k to the 3rd power. And then m times m to the 5th power is m6. 25, 12, A5, B5, 20, A7, B to the negative 7th power. So the first thing I would do is this guy over here. I'm going to put him upstairs, right? So this is going to change. It's going to become 12, A5th, B5th, A7th, and then this B to the negative 2nd power, I want a positive exponent, so I'm going to put it up here. That's a shortcut. Step by step, my next is going to be to simplify. Well, the 12, oh, I forgot 20. So 12 or 20, I can simplify. Divide by 4, I get a 3. 20 divided by 4, I get a 5. So that's okay, done. The A's, I have A to the 5th, A to the 7th. Remember what that is. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A times A times A, 5 times on the top, times 7 A's multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the bottom. Right? That's what this is the A to the 5th power, A to the 7th, the short version of this mess over here. Simplify, right? That becomes 1 and 1 because A divided by A is 1. This simplifies, this simplifies, this simplifies, this simplifies. All that simplifies to 1. So if you notice, what do I have left over? I have a to the second power left over in the denominator. So that and that. And if you look at the b's, we have b to the fifth times b to the second. Right? So that's what that is. Expand it out if you are confused. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B times B times B times B times B. Guess what? Times 2 more. That's what this says right here. And what is that equal to? Well, it's just B to the 7th power. Remember, bases are the same. We're multiplying. We keep the base. We add the exponent. Where am I? Oh, 26. 5, a to the 5th, b to the negative 4th, negative power. So, let's get rid of this negative exponent. So to do that, the 3 becomes positive, but this will change it a little bit, right? This will go denominator, ba5, b negative 4. So my first switch is this guy. Right? So from here on, so my next step, you got two choices. You can do the expander rule, right? Multiply that 3 times every exponent inside. Or you can take care of that b to the negative 4th power. So I'm going to do that. That stays. We're not taking care of that yet. 5 stays where it is. The a to the 5th power stays where it is. But this b to the negative 4th, it's negative exponent. So I'm going to throw it up here in the denominator and it becomes positive. I don't have any more negative exponents. I can multiply now. This times this. There's a little 1 here. So this times that. This times that. If I do that, b to the 4th times 3 becomes b to the 12. 5 to the 1 times 3 is 5 times 5 times 5, or 5 to the 3rd power. And a to the 5th times 3 becomes a to the 15th. One more step, b12, 125 times a to the 15th. That's my final answer. 1.54, repeating, minus 0.7. So x equals 1.54, repeating, multiply both sides by 100, because there's 2 repeating numbers, so I get 154.54. I'm going to subtract. This goes away. 154 minus 1 is 153. 100x minus x is 99x. Divide both sides by 99. X equals 153 over 99. 0.7, repeating, x equals 0.7, repeating. Multiply both sides by 10, we got 10x. And on top, we got 7.7 repeating. Subtract. 10x minus x is 9x. The repeating parts go away. I'm left with 7. Divide both sides by 9. X equals 7 over 9. So I can go to my original problem, which was 1.54 repeating minus 0.7 repeating, and replace those two with 1. This becomes 153 over 99 minus, this becomes 7 over 9. Right, now I can actually do something with that. Find the common, denominator, which is 99. 153 minus, and this is times 11, so on top it's times 11 is 77. And this final answer is going to be something over 99, and 153 minus 77 is 153 minus 77 is 76. 28. 28 negative 5 and 4/5 minus 1.09 minus 2 and 3/10 minus 2 and 3/4. Negative 5.8 minus 1.09 minus 2.3 minus 2.75. So this is actually it's a negative minus a negative minus a negative minus a negative, right? So we're going further left on the number line. So in this case, all we have to do is add all these 4 numbers. Right? Like adding debt and more debt and more debt. That's basically what we're doing. So let's figure how far left we are on the number line. 9 and 5 is 14, carry 1, 10, 19, carry 1, 11. So it looks like it's negative 11. Okay. All right, not too much more left over, sort of. 29, 3m, negative 3, negative second power, 4b fifth power. So again, law of exponents. Let's get rid of this guy here first. Right, so let's change that to a positive. So we switch denominator and numerator. That allows me to make this into a positive. Next step over, I have an m to the negative third power, so if you want to get rid of that, so you only have positive exponents, you could do 4 b to the fifth, right, still to the second power, and then 3 stays, but m to the negative third, I'm going to throw the m upstairs. And that negative 3 becomes positive 3. So now, we don't have any negative exponents. All we got to do is multiply every single exponent times the 2. So on the top we got 4 to the first power times 2 is 4 to the second power, or 16. B to the fifth power times 2 is b to the 10th. M to the third power times 2 is m to the 6th. And at the bottom, 3 to the second power is just 9. '30 I'll skip. And then we start with number 2 again for some reason, all over again. All right. X equals 2.61, repeating. Multiply both sides by 100. Here I get 261.61 repeating. 99x, if you subtract. And over here, the repeating parts go away, and we're left with 259. Divide both sides by 99. X equals 259. And then find the difference. Let's find the difference between 261 repeating and 1.3 repeating. So let's find out what 1.3 repeating is. 1.3 repeating. That x equals that. Multiply both sides by 10. And the other side becomes 13.3 repeating. That and that goes away. 13 minus 1 is 12. And x over x is 9x. Divide both sides by 9. X equals 12 over 9. Now, I'm not going to simplify because I have to, find the difference. So the question says find the difference. Difference means subtraction. So you're actually subtracting these two fractions, 259 over 99 minus 12 over 9, right? Because in the original state, you couldn't actually subtract this. Right? That's why we changed it to these two fractions. Find a common denominator, which is 99. And then this becomes 99, so it's times 11, and 12 times 11 is 132. Right? Now you can subtract. 259 minus 132, it's just 127. And you can change the mixed number, etc. It really depends on the question. Evaluate. So we had negative 3.2 minus negative 5 over 8. Not minus, sorry. 3.2 times negative 5 over 8 divided by negative 1 and 1/4. I'm going to change everything to a fraction. So this is 32 over 10 times negative 5 over 8. And then multiply by the reciprocal of this. Well, first of all, 1 and 1/4 is the same thing as 5/4. So the reciprocal would be negative 4 over 5. Right, so it's a negative times a negative times a negative, which is going to give me a negative. Let's simplify whatever we can. That 5 and that 5, see ya. The 4 becomes 1, the 8 becomes 2, divided both by 2. The 32 divided by 2 is 1, 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16 and 10 can be simplified. Divide top and bottom by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 10 divided by 2 is 5. That's it. No more simplifying. So on the top I have 8 times 1 times 1. the bottom is 5 times 1 times 1. Okay. What is this? 4/5 divided by 3 over 7. Okay. And then I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to write divided by 21 over 15, and then minus 1.5, right? Because that's what I just rewrote it horizontal instead of writing as a complex fraction. So let's figure out what this is inside the parentheses. 4/5 times 7 over 3. There's nothing to simplify, unfortunately. So I actually get 28 over 21 times, okay, I'm going to do the reciprocal of this guy over here, which is 15 over 21. Okay. And can we simplify anything? We can. No, we can't. Yes, we can. Divided by 3 is 5. Divided by 3 is 7. Divided by 7 is 1. Divided by 7 is 4. So we get 4 times 5, which is 20, over 21, minus 1.5, which I'm going to write as 15 over 10. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yes, I have no choice. Common denominator. Ooh, don't tell me it's 210. 210. 21 times 10 is 210, so on top times 10 is 200. 10 times 21, and then it's 210, and 15 times 21 is, I have no idea, 315. You subtract those two, you're going to get something over 210, negative 115, which you can simplify. Divide top and bottom by 5. Is that the best way of, what is the number at the bottom to 10? Simplify. We get 23 over 42. You can divide top and bottom by 5. So 23 over 42. Yeah, and that's that. So up to now, like I'd say about 90% of your questions could have been done in the calculator, right? 7, again, another playground area place. So the area of a playground, so rectangular playground. So if we take the length and you multiply times the width, we get 16 and 1/5, or 16.2. I'm just going to write it as a what do you call it, decimal, just in case it makes my life easier. The width is 7 1/4, or 7.25. What is the length of the playground? What is the length here? So area is length times width. We have the area, 16 1 over 5. The length we don't know, so we'll leave it at that. And the width is 7 1/4. Right, it's a one-step equation. We're going to divide this side by 7 1/4. We're going to divide this side by 7 1/4. Those two goes away, and then you actually got to divide that. So you can divide as a fraction. You can change it to a decimal and then divide. It's up to you. Well, since we have it as a fraction, let's keep it as a fraction. So let me write that. 16 1/5 divided by 7 1/4. 80. 81 over 5 divided by 29 over 4, right? Because that's 4 times 7 is 28 plus 129. Change it to a multiplication, 81 over 5 times 4 over 29. And that's uglier and uglier. Can we simplify this? No, we can't. So on the top I get 4, 3, 2, 4. On the bottom I get 45, carry the 4, 145. 324 over 45. If I change that to a mixed number, it's 2, which is 290. 34 over 145. So that's the length. Ten, the pumpkin watermelon question. So it's 350 pounds. This year we want it to be 1 5/8 times bigger, so we're going to multiply that by 1 5/8. And then from this amount, right, we're going to get a amount here, right? It's going to be greater than 350, around 600. No, sorry, around 500 or so, 400 and change. And then from that, we're going to take 4 sevens, so multiply that. 4 sevens. Hopefully we can simplify. 350 over 1 times 8 times 1, 13 over 8 times 4 over 7. Oh, yuck. We can simplify a little bit. This becomes 1, this becomes 2, this becomes 1, and this becomes 275. Right? 1 times 7 is just 7. 275 times 13 is some number, 3,575. No. Please tell me we can divide that by 7. No, we can't. And then I'm going to change that to a mixed number. The easiest way to do that, if you don't have a calculator, is to just divide. 3,575 divided by 7. 7 goes into 3. No, it goes 35 5 times. Subtract, you have a 0. Bring the 7. 7 goes to 7 one time. Subtract, you get a 0, thankfully. And we're going to bring the 5 down. If 7 goes into 5, no it doesn't, so it's 0 times. Add a 0. Bring that down. So actually we're going to leave it as a mixed number, so we can stop. We're not going to continue. So 3,575 over 7 as a mixed number is 510 5 cents. Is that right? Just let me check. Por favor, times, something is off, times 4 over 7, and enter. It's supposed to give me 325. What did I do wrong? The answer should be 325. So let me go back. Let's start again. Uh, 350 times 1 5/8 times 4 7. Okay, so 350 times 8 times 1 is 8, plus 5 is 13 over 8 times 4 sevens. Let's simplify. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 350 divided by 2 is 175. What did I do wrong? And then I have to multiply. So 175 times 13 equals 2,275. And at the bottom is just 7. So let's write that as a mixed number. So 2,775, we divide that by 7. 3 times, which is 21. 1 left over, 7 comes down. 17 goes to 7 2 times, which is 14. 3 left over, 5 comes down. 7 goes to 35 5 times. Oh, nice. So this actually becomes exactly 325. The final answer is that, 325 pounds. Again, we have a rectangle. The length is 2 3/5. I'm gonna 2 3/5 or 2.6. And the width here, they tell us it's twice. So it's either gonna be twice 2.6. It's gonna be 5.2 or 5 1/5. Okay. What do we want? We want the area and the perimeter. So area, I'm just going to do decimals. 2.6 times 5.2. So we actually got to multiply 2.6 times 5.2. 12, carry the 1 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30, carry 3, 13. 2, 5, 1, 3, 2 decimal places. So the area is 13.52 inches squared. The perimeter is 5.2 times 2 plus 2.6 times 2. Right? But there's another one here. There's another one here. Right? Parameters all the sides added up together. 5.2 times 2 is 10.4. 2.6 times 2 is 5.2. And the final answer would be 15.6. And that's your perimeter inches. And then we have a lot. Oh my god, it's a long video. 12. Okay, so 12 is easy. 9.21 is rational. 10 over 2 is a counting. It's a whole. It's an integer. And it's a rational. Negative 3 to the 6th power. It's negative 3 times negative 3 times 3, 6 times. It's going to be a positive number. And it's going to be a counting number. It's going to be a whole number. It's going to be an integer. And rational. 123, point repeating 876, right? It's just rational. Because you and I know how to change this into a over b, where a and b are integers, right? So, yeah, that's it. Your bonus word is this. I'm looking at it. Okay, that's an R. It's just on my shelf. That's the first title I saw. All right. An average adult weighs 107 pounds and 3/4. Don't ask me how I got that. An infant weighs 1/8 out of that. What is the weight of the infant? Well, okay. So 170 and 3/4 times 1/8, right? So you're going to take 1/8 of this number. You can multiply those two as fractions, or you can do this, and then actually 1/8, right, is, I forget what it is, 0.125. So you got two choices. Multiply it as your decimals, or multiply it as fractions, right, or use a calculator. Without a calculator, and I'm not too sure how many of you knew that this was this. So you might, I'm going to go and see in the calculator what kind of answer we get. Right, so you get a really ugly number. Right, so you have choices. I am going to, I'm trying to see which one is the prettiest. Not prettiest, it's less hassle. Well, let's stick to fractions. Now, 170 times 4 is 680. So you actually get 683 over 4 times 1 over 8. Not too sure if you want to do that. So that becomes 683 over 12. And then over 32, I apologize. And then depending on your multiple choice, you might have to change that to a proper fraction. Sorry, a mixed number. Which is probably the case most of the time. I don't think you're ever going to find the final answer in that shape. Okay, or you can multiply these two. Okay, 170.75 times 0.125. And I'm going to use a calculator here because we get 21.43, sorry, 21.34375. So I get the fractional version. So 683 divided by 32. So this and this are the same. Okay. 13 over 10 divided by I'm going to change that right away. It says 0.45 negative, and I'm going to change that to 45 over 100. 13 over 10 times the reciprocal, which is 100 over 45. Can we simplify a few things? Yep. First of all, it's positive negative. It's going to be a negative. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 100 divided by 10 is 10. We can simplify 10 and 45. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 45 divided by 5 is 9. I can't simplify anything else. So it's 26 over 9, or whatever mixed number that turns out to be. 16. 8.2 minus 6.4. I'm going to write instead of plus negative 2/10, I'm just going to write minus 2.1 minus 7.8. All right, so let's do these two, right? Order of operations. It's a positive minus, so that becomes 8.2 plus negative 6.4. However you want to think about it. So let's say you had $8.20. You spent $6.40. Right? How much do you have left over? You would have $1.80 left over. $1.80 positive, minus 2.1, minus 7.89, right? Now you do these two, $1.80 minus $2.10, you would be owing people 30 cents. And then you go spend another $7.89 that you don't have, so you're more in debt now, right? So it's a negative minus a negative, plus a negative, sorry. And then that's going to take you to negative $8.19. Okay. And this one is the order of operations from left to right. Done? Am I done? No, I'm not done. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore because okay, 16. Oh, I just did 16. 17. Absolute value, negative 23 minus 15 divided by 3 minus 12 to the second power. So let's figure out what's inside the absolute value. 15 divided by 3. Right, there we go. And then minus 23. Negative 23 minus 5 is negative 28. Right, now you can take the absolute value, and the absolute value of negative 28 is just 28. Minus, don't forget, we have this guy right here, right? Minus 12 to the second power, which is the same thing as minus 144. 28 minus 144 is the same thing as 28 plus negative 144. And 28, well, negative has the absolute value, greater absolute value. So you're going to get 116 negative. 18, another absolute value. 18 minus 24 minus 5 to the second power. Closed absolute value minus 4 cubed. All right, order of operations. Let's change a few things. So it's 18 minus 24 minus 25, right? And then 4 to the third power is 64. Continuing, we have to figure out what 18 minus 24 minus 25 is. So 18 minus 24 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 25 is negative 31. Minus 65. Absolute value of negative 31 is 31. 31 minus 64. Okay, if you do this, or if you change it to an addition problem, either way, doesn't matter. You get the same answer, and you get negative 33. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. Olivia buys the items below at a grocery store. 5 packages of bacon at $8.99 per package. So 5 times $8.99. And then she's gonna buy 7/8 of a, not a full pound, of apples at $2.99. And then what 2.5 gallons of organic apple juice. And every gallon is $7.49. So obviously it's going to be. So this, be careful, okay, because there's a lot of rounding here. So let's do the first one manual. So 8.99, you multiply that by 5. You have a calculator. If you multiply that, actually, I'm use a calculator. You actually get 44.95. So that one is easy, right? The second one, 7/8. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the calculator and see what I get. 7 over 8, that's a fraction, times 2.99. Oh, okay, so in your calculator, you're going to get, you put that in, 2.61625. And again, we're talking about money. Money for us goes 2 decimal places. And this would actually, you would have to use 2.62. So 7/8 of 299 is 262. And lastly, 2.5 times 7.49, 7.49 times 2.5. You get, in this one you get, let me put blue, you get 18.725 in your calculator. So if you round this, right, because you have to, the value you're going to be using is 18.73. So your total here, let's figure out what the total is, 44.95 for the bacon, 2.62, and then 18.73. If I add them up, 44.95 plus 2.62 plus 18.73 gives me $66.30. So it says there is no sales tax on the food she buys. Susan pays for the items and receives $33.70 in change. What amount of money does Olivia use to pay for the items? Wow, what a very silly question. I don't even know. Okay. So this was the total of her merchandise. She paid with this bill that I don't know, right? Minus whatever she spent, which is what we know, $66, and she received this much in change. So the question is, how much did she give the cashier? She obviously gave the cashier $100 bill. Okay, that's it. Sorry if the video was long. Okay, but hopefully it helps.